Now broadcasting from the Next Gen Conservative Studio in sunny South Florida, bringing you the latest in politics, current events, and pop culture. This is the Whitfield Report with Sam Whitfield.
You know what? More, you're right about that. I did have like 2 new instances today, or yesterday, I guess. But sometimes you have to start a new Twitter for the Whitfield Report because you forgot what email you used because it was so long ago. So
Based.
but since
Is that being
I've learned,
is that being a noob or being an old man?
Yeah, that sounds like more like being a boomer.
well, yeah, I mean, I have my boomer moments.
Same, because they're often noobs. So I guess that's fair.
Yeah. But you know what? Isn't a noob? Well, actually, it is a noob move, depending on how you look at it. But in a good way. I published this here new book about a month ago, The Fourth Estate, which you can buy on Amazon. We've had great reviews so far on it, and I just want to thank everyone for supporting the book so far and going out and purchasing copies. I think both Max and Mort have read the book, and so far I think they like it. But
it's all right. No, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, you said, Max,
Me,
you
you
said
would know
last
if
week.
I didn't like it.
Yeah. Well, Max, you actually said it reminded you a bit of 20. You said it reminded you a little bit of 24 last week, which is actually like one of the nicest things that anyone has said about the book, especially like I'm an old school 24 fan, so that is a really high.
I can co-sign it.
That's really high praise. So go out and purchase the Fourth Estate, and you can also purchase.
Go out and rob a bank and use the proceeds to buy as many copies of the book as possible. There we go.
Yeah. It is worth robbing a bank to get the to buy copies of this.
Well, with the quality of the paper, it's a steal.
It is. But also I understand.
I think that's one. What? Oh, she missed it. Never mind.
Okay, well, that's it. I promise you still won't get one. I just want
you to say it.
No. He said that my book was a steal. And I would agree, especially since we are all.
After I encouraged our audience to rob a bank and use the proceeds to buy copies of the book, I think this is important.
Well, hey, it is the Biden economy, so
gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah,
books are worth it, man.
Things are tough out there. So, also I actually saw an uptick in sales after Tucker Carlson's latest interview on the Joe Rogan Experience, which I may or may not have talked about on Monday and tied it into the book a little bit. Why would I ever do that? Anyway,
shameless self-promotion, right? Did I get it?
Self-shill.
Well, yeah, you got it, Max. So,
Awesome.
Exactly. Uh,
Shameless if you don't have any shame with it. So
no, none whatsoever. Also, shout out to Shmuley for his kitten energy, and shout out to Dino Nuggies for being a 1 month member
oh,
of the channel.
Very
So
cool.
appreciate it. Anywho, the title of tonight's show is "Whatever Happened to '90s Liberals?" And that is a good question, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever happened to '90s Liberals? Because it seems like Bill Maher, as Max put it in one of his tweets the other day, Bill Maher kind of seems to be our guy at various points. But
it was certainly an interesting rant you don't often see from a well-known liberal.
yeah, indeed.
Yeah, Bill Maher definitely has his moments of thinking clearly.
He does. I don't know if the thing with Bill Maher though
Maybe we should
is
offer him a beer so we can come over our side full time.
yeah. Well, I'm trying to find the clip. Oh, and I just found it for you all to watch because this is gold. This is gold, and I want to get your guys' reaction on the panel because I do have some questions, but I think that this is a banger clip overall. This is from Friday's episode of Real Time with Bill Maher. Let me cue this up. And let's go ahead and play this.
One of the few people in the public eye who's gone through life and never had kids. Someone has to tell me, why am I always having to defend them? I don't even like kids, but I also think it's every adult's job to protect them. Have you all been watching the Max documentary called Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV? OMG. Nickelodeon, it wasn't a studio, it was Neverland Ranch with craft services. It is just scene after scene, clip after clip of the child stars of their day being subjected to obviously inappropriate, highly sexualized degradation, and quite a few pickles going through glory holes.
And I do want to point out here that now I understand why my mom really never let me watch Nickelodeon as a kid because of all this stuff.
I've been telling
But,
my wife about this for years. She didn't really, I think, fully grasp until she saw some of them saying what was going on.
Well,
But yeah, these are basically child sex trafficking, as far as I'm concerned, is Disney and Nickelodeon.
Well, and this is something I will
would
play
agree.
the clip, and then I do want to kind of break this down because there are a lot of people online saying, well, why are people suddenly paying attention to this because of the HBO documentary? We've been shouting out this for years and nothing has happened. And I just want to say that, like, kudos to HBO for putting this documentary out because, hey, if it
Better
helps,
late than never.
if it helps awaken more normies to this type of stuff, good on them.
The documentary is sensationalist, but so's the topic. And if it gets the attention onto the topic, then if that's what it took, good, I guess.
Yep.
The problem is most of the people involved in the documentary have already gone through this fucking sadistic psychosexual torture camp.
Yep.
Right? There's kids currently at both of those facilities, Disney and Nickelodeon. I wonder what they're going through right now.
Yep.
Probably the same shit.
All right.
I was grossed out and I've gone camping with John Waters. I kid you, John. I love you. So I don't know if this documentary is the talk of your town, but it is out here because it didn't just expose a dangerous workplace. It also exposed hypocrisy. Because it must be pointed out that when the evil governor of Florida was saying the exact same thing about kids and creepy stuff at Disney that liberals now find intolerable at Nickelodeon, he was dismissed as a hick and a bigot. But why would a kids' content factory like Disney be all that different than the one at Nickelodeon? A 2014 CNN report discovered that at least 35 Disney employees had been arrested for sex crimes against children, and in 2021, Disney child star Allison Stoner confessed she only narrowly survived the toddler to train wreck pipeline. The next year, child star Cole Sprouse told the New York Times that young actresses at the Disney Channel were heavily sexualized from an early age. You know,
so were male actors too. In fact, it's been highly suggested that Leonardo DiCaprio
but he's citing specific sources, to be fair.
Yeah, and I can appreciate that. I'm just pointing out that
he's going out of his way to not make claims that he can't back up, it seems, actually.
Right. And I appreciate that. So I'm also just doing commentary.
I'm sure he's heard all kinds of things. We've all heard all kinds of things about these horrific, practices.
Oh yeah.
And yet nobody cares until light is shined on it.
Well, hey, that's, sunlight is the best disinfectant.
Willie Sutton said he robbed banks because that's where the money is. And the reason we find pedophiles in the Boy Scouts and the Rectory and kids' TV is that's where the kids are. DeSantis wasn't wrong, but we're so tribal now. The left will overlook child fucking if the guy from the wrong party calls it out. Sure, Nickelodeon messed up Amanda Bynes, but the Mickey Mouse Club was where Britney Spears got her start, and she's perfectly fine. And get this, after Brian Peck, who was one of the lead creeps at Nickelodeon, served 16 months in prison for the molesting he did there, Disney hired him, naturally to work on a children's series. Oh, for pedophiles in Hollywood, it's a small world after all. And not just Hollywood. There are Instagram moms these days who are practically only fansing their itty-bitty beauty queen daughters by having them wear skimpy bikinis and eat bananas to build social media stardom. They're called sharenters, a hybrid of sharing and parent. I call them pimps, a hybrid of pimp and... And people who believe in social justice have agreed this is wrong and this is bad, and exposing kids to an adult world of lurid costumes and garish makeup borders on abuse. Now, hurry up and get in the car. We're late for Drag Queen Story Hour.
Okay, I have to admit, when the first time I saw this clip, I did not expect Bill to go here, but I'm glad he is.
Absolutely.
Not that there's anything wrong with being a drag queen, but maybe it's time to admit that sometimes Drag Queen Story Hour is more for the queen than the kids. Sure, kids love a clown, but does the clown have to have tits? And when I see a 5-year-old tipping at a bar under a sign that says it's not going to lick itself, do I have to pretend that's cool in order to keep my liberal ID card? Sorry, I can't do that. If you want kids to be more tolerant, why not have handicapped people read them stories? Kids are more likely to encounter disabled people than drag queens in life. Geez, can't we just go back to the good old days when kids were read simple stories with simple morals like, if you're a lonely single man, just make a boy out of wood. I've said it before, wokeness is not an extension of liberalism anymore. It's more often taking something so far that it becomes the opposite. Teaching kids not to hate or judge those who are different, great. Proud we got there, all for that. But at a certain point, inclusion becomes promotion. And contrary to current progressive dogma, children aren't miniature adults wise beyond their years, they're morons. They're gullible morons who believe anything and just want to please grown-ups. And they don't have any frame of reference. So they normalize whatever's happening. That's why endlessly talking about gender to 6-year-olds isn't just inappropriate. It's what the law would call entrapment, which means enticing people into doing something they wouldn't ordinarily do. For example, after 9/11, there were several cases of overzealous federal agents leading sad losers into terrorist plots, like the undercover FBI agent who got 7 out-of-work dudes in Liberty City, Florida, to sign on to a plot to bomb the Sears Tower in Chicago. Oh, please, these guys didn't even have a gun. But when someone said, wouldn't it be cool if we taught the man a lesson and blew something up? They said, yeah, that would be kind of cool. Entrapment. Suggesting someone into something they wouldn't otherwise do. And if you think that some of that isn't going on with gender in schools, you're not watching enough TikTok videos.
I pledge allegiance to the queers.
I'm not allowed to be out as trans non-binary at school. So my response to this is to be as obnoxiously queer as possible.
There's a certain kind of activist these days who wants to take heterosexuality, old school, old-fashioned, boring, minding its own business heterosexuality, and lump it in with patriarchy and sexism and racism and tell kids, wouldn't it be cool if you were anything but that? It also seems to be the theme of kind of a lot of kids' books these days. I never used the phrase gay agenda because I thought it was mostly nonsense. And it is, mostly. But a director for Disney television animation did say after she was hired,
the showrunners were super welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda. I was just wherever I could, just basically adding queerness. No one would stop me and no one was trying to stop me.
Look, I'm all for adding queerness wherever. I put some in my drink before I came out here tonight. But maybe we should think about giving kids a break from our culture wars for a minute, or at least until the election is over.
All right.
No,
Gentlemen.
pump the kids full of more hormones, Bill. They need more hormones and tolerance immediately. It's an emergency. You know how bigoted those kids are, Bill? Those evil children without our tolerance and queerness they'll just be mean. And you know the trans people are killing themselves. Did you know that? It's a genocide against them by them. Because
Yeah,
you're mean.
on their own damn side.
Because you're mean, Sam. It's your fault.
How How is it my fault? And
Because you're
specifically-
mean. You're a bigot. And you're the patriarchy and whatever, cisgender or something. But you don't want them to use bathrooms, Sam.
Cisgender
So we
cripple.
need to inject more hormones into the kids because Sam over here can't get with the fucking program.
I mean, look, I am friends with you, so I guess that automatically makes me an asshole. I'm one of the partners in a media organization called Right to Offend. So, yeah, clearly that does make me an asshole.
Right. And if we don't do this, Sam, and we don't make all the kids trans, then if fucking some trans people, okay, are gonna kill themselves. Do you want to be responsible for that?
But I'm not responsible because suicide is a person's own choice. And
not under capitalism.
And in all seriousness, that is usually where I just roll away from the conversation. Because
Yeah, no, Bill is
You mean you don't walk
saying
away, Sam?
Yeah, you walk away. You go running. Breaks out into a jog.
I mean, sometimes I wish I could like to get as far away as like fast as possible from some of these weirdos. Here's what I am curious to hear your guys' perspective because like 10 years ago, even I remember when the whole I remember when the trans people are coming for your kids and they're going to make all your kids gay. I remember when that was like an evangelical right-wing
You gotta
Christian
give credit where it's
thing.
due. They apparently were right. Who'd have fucking figured that one out?
They were, and like even those conservatives were like, yeah, I mean we might not agree with them, but they're not going to be trying to like fuck kids in the streets or anything like that.
Yeah. Like, if you just let the gays get married, you're not gonna end up with a bunch of drag queens at story time at the local library trying to molest the kids. Like, how could that ever be? Let's be tolerant, guys. And then sure enough, like, it's like, wow, that was a specific but also true prediction, huh?
It
just
like my theory is that like a lot of working like a lot of working class Republicans, a lot of working class Democrats just they were busy living their own lives, so they didn't care. And that's what happened to the 90s.
Well, an orange man's really bad. So if it's not about him, then it's fine. Just do whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like Orange Man was kind of like the answer to like a lot of this stuff that was cropping up between 2013 and 2015.
But the Orange Man is bad.
Yeah, the Orange Man is bad though, Sam.
Yes, but the Orange Man was a result of this stuff.
Yeah, and that's clearly that's bad. But we needed more of this, right? Don't you understand? Like just because the shit we want to do ends up being awful, and you're all poor, and they're putting like hormones in your kid's cereal. Just because of that, okay, doesn't mean that we're wrong about anything.
Yes, it does.
No, look. It's just part and parcel of living in a big city.
Bad, Sam.
But
sometimes you just light yourself on fire, Sam. It's normal.
Well, I mean that is That is true. They seem to be lighting themselves on fire a lot. What I
With the
find
cost of gas, it's amazing that it happens as frequently as it does, to be honest with you. That's quite a commitment. It's probably actually cheaper to get a gun and just shoot yourself.
Well, what I find is interesting, Max, is I know that like you've been very suspicious of cops your entire life because you've told me. That seems to be like more of a not necessarily a right wing thing now, but like more of a conservative thing. Like, hey, I also don't trust.
I think it's more of a getting fucked over by the system versus being not fucked over by the system thing. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's because like normies are kind of like, fuck cops. I don't want to get pulled over. I already pay enough like taxes and goddamn grocery prices and every other fucking thing. I don't want to get a ticket.
Yeah.
Worse, you get put in jail. That's like a couple days out of work minimum for most people.
There goes your job.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you keep your job.
Well, and like I was trying to explain someone. I was trying to explain kind of your views to a neighbor of mine who watches this show, and I said, well, Max isn't like isn't really a diehard conservative. I mean, I guess now he could be considered one, but Max is just a normal guy who like grew up listening to Rush Limbaugh, but also grew up listening to 90s metal and gangster rap. And so, and somehow found like a hybrid of, those two. It's really interesting how like people try to put you in a box, and yet because you can't, it just fucks with people's mind, and that's one of the reasons why I like hang out with you.
Well, I do sometimes disappoint because I'm not like a hardcore like evangelicon or something. But I don't know, I have a punk rock mindset, and the people in power that were fucking us for the longest time were, at least if you're anti-war, that's the biggest one, it were Republicans. And if you were like you mentioned, if you're into Dungeons and Dragons or metal music or gangster rap, it was stodgy old Republicans that were against you, not Democrats. Although Tipper Gore tried to ban a lot of music her damn self, right?
Yeah,
so it's always more of like the Republicans were the enemy that I saw, especially on the war issue. You have to remember, being my number one issue for most of my adult life.
Yeah.
Fuck George Bush. I still say fuck George Bush. I'm not gonna fucking sit here and like be apologetic because he was a Republican. Fuck him.
No, I'm on that same boat now too. Especially like, I mean, I'm sorry. This might seem like a lame excuse, but like the fact that like he supposedly is ideologically different, quote unquote, from Barack Obama, and yet you see pictures of him giving him like hugs, like he's like a long lost brother or something. I mean, Trump is right that like there literally is a uniparty at times. It seems.
Yeah, and that's why
war involved.
Yeah.
It's especially if it's war related, it's all of a sudden they're all on the same team, and you kind of see that, and you see things being me, like two friends dying in that war, and here we are, 20 years later, 20 years on. What did they die for in Iraq exactly? I can't give an honest answer for that. because
Um,
whatever the answer is, it's not something good.
I
It's not
mean,
worth young men dying,
Absolutely
old men
not.
getting rich on their back.
I mean, nothing. And who was opposing the war? Ron Paul.
Yeah, not John Kerry for the record. So that's why I got a very. I already had like looked into alternative ideologies by that point because I was an edgy guy. But by that point, I knew like the two parties. They neither one had nothing for me because they were both pro-war. John
Yeah.
Kerry and George Bush ran against each other. Neither one of them with the idea of ending a war.
No, I'd
And then
also like,
Obama won on saying he was going to end a war and then didn't. A lot of people like to forget that.
yeah, and also saying that he would do things like declassify the 9/11 documents, and then never did that
That's
either.
so minor compared to the war thing.
No, I know.
He promised to end 2 wars and he expanded into other countries. It's the most egregious lie of a political campaign, I think, in American history. I'm pretty sure it's the most egregious campaign lie ever, was that he was going to end wars. And that is why he got the nomination. And that is maybe not why he won. He won because a lot of people wanted to vote for a black guy. Let's be real. They wanted to be able to say, oh, see, we're not racist. We had a black guy. But like he got the nomination because of his explicit anti-war stance. And he didn't do anything remotely like that in his entire presidency.
Nope, not one bit. Also, I'd also like to point out that like the Hollywood types like Sean Penn, who were supposedly anti-war during, the Bush administration, not a peep out of them when Obama was droning.
Of course not.
People left and right, and I mention that specifically because, like probably 10 years or so ago, I made a clip in which I was pretty critical of Sean Penn, and someone said, "Would you like to apologize?" And nope, because he's not really anti-war. He's only anti-war when
the Reds do it.
When the camera's on.
Yeah.
When the camera's on and it's the trendy thing to do. Which
So
that's the answer to your question, Sam, is it became trendy to be on the far left of any given issue, whereas in the 90s liberal days, the liberals were laughing at the far left. The Simpsons would make fun of vegans, right? Like the left used to make fun of this element of itself, but then for whatever reason, Orange Man is bad, so they've trended in a direction where they don't even stop to think about the things that they're doing, particularly to kids. And it's like I've been saying all along, like when normal people, they don't confront this shit, Sam, because they're not looking for news articles. They're busy working, and they come home after fucking working, and maybe they'll, listen to some like us because we're funny, but they're not looking to bring that drama to their door of all the horrible things going on in the world all the time. But when you bring the stuff about what's happening to kids at like Nickelodeon to their front door all of a sudden, yeah, they do feel some kind of way. They're still there, the 90s liberals, as you put it. But they stopped paying attention because they're not trendy. And in fact, they're worried about getting canceled.
Because
for having like
actually speak up.
Like think about this, Sam. The liberals used to love South Park. Now you could be canceled and fired from your job if you were to like post a South Park meme.
That is, and that's incredibly. I know you're right.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredibly sad that we've gotten to that state now.
Yeah.
In our
Like I say,
society.
continuing the analogy, this guy, he works 40 plus hours a week, everything is so much more expensive. Food, shelter, whether it's your rent, your mortgage, it's probably going up because of inflation. Even if it's not, your other bills are probably going up. Electricity, my God. And you come home, and if you go on social media at all, it's to talk with your friends about the last TV show you watched, or if you're going to play a video game before you go to bed tonight, to wake up and do the grind all over again. They don't have time or mental space to deal with all of the issues. Like, most people don't like politics like this. So when it gets brought to their front door in such an egregious fashion, I'm telling you, those are not the people you want to get politically involved. Normies, if they get politically involved at all, the results are not going to be what a lot of people seem to think. Because the left-wing activists think, and the right-wing activists both think the same thing. When the normies wake up, they're going to take my side. No. You're waking the normies up, and they're not going to take any side except their own, which is to get rid of your big mouth and your big mouth.
Right.
Trying to tell them what to do and how to live, and they don't fucking appreciate that shit. It's hard enough out here when you're trying to struggle by with your daily fucking routine.
And so again, that's why I do commend HBO for putting that documentary out, because or not, you might say, oh, well, that documentary was too little too late. Yeah, but a lot of normies still watch HBO. And
they hear from their friends because they grew up watching Nickelodeon themselves, and they're horrified. And it's a viral thing. It's a good thing. Look, I've been talking about the abuse I've personally witnessed in the entertainment industry on the show before, okay? This is a thing that's very prolific in the entire industry of entertainment from top to bottom.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of things that have been ignored. It's not being ignored anymore. That's a good thing. Because these children were being abused by adults that they were supposed to trust. And for what? For silly children's entertainment shows that aren't even very good. And the only reason people go back and they're like, oh, I used to love that, it's because they grew up watching it. Look at it now. The comedy is written for small children, right? And if you watch these shows without the context of you watched them as a kid, it's bad. They're not even good shows.
Right.
They're made for kids. They're low effort. I'm sorry if you really, really like some Nickelodeon or Disney show, but be honest with yourself. It wouldn't get your attention today at 20-something, 30-something years old, unless you saw it as a kid. And I just don't think we need to put kids through these torture camps, okay, for shitty sitcoms.
Yeah,
that's not worth it. They grow up all fucked in the head. They get abused. It's not worth it.
Yeah, and then some of them may or may not continue that cycle of abuse too.
Drake Bell.
I'm not saying all of them do, but certainly some of them, do.
I mean, it's a pretty clear delineation that child stars end up fucked up going back to the 50s. One of the first, teen idols was Ricky Nelson. You know what happened to Ricky Nelson, Sam?
He committed suicide, right?
He blew his fucking brains out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was one of the first ones, right? It's always been a cancer. And it's like Bill said, the bank robber goes where the money's at. The pedo goes to Disney. He goes to fucking, and then the guy that wants to be like a creepy rapist might do casting couches for Hollywood. You go where the thing is, and it's easy for them to do this. They not only do they not need to cut the parents off from these kids, as you might see if you watch the documentary, a lot of times the parents basically encourage what's going on without even knowing it in some cases.
Yeah.
If I was a
Dude, you
child-
gotta do whatever you gotta do to get ahead over here at Disney. And they don't know that they're literally telling their kid that they gotta blow that guy. That's what
If
they
I
gotta
was-
do to get ahead.
If I was a
Yeah,
child actor,
it's,
there's no way in fucking hell my mom would have allowed me to be around them alone.
Well, they all got nice smiles, and they've obviously they figure out whose parents are gonna fucking pay attention and whose aren't.
Yeah, they're all fucking shitty parents.
And I'll tell you this too. The reason that some of this is coming out now specifically is because of the change in the way NDAs work. You see, prior to 2019, I believe it's 2019. I could be wrong. It could be 2020. But either way, you could get an NDA for criminal activity, meaning I witnessed criminal activity, but I'm signing this NDA saying I won't talk about it for money. That's not allowed anymore. You can't use an NDA to cover up criminal activity anymore.
Is that because of the Bill Cosby thing specifically, or
No.
the Harvey Weinstein?
No, it's unrelated, but it's a similar kind of case.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was as a result of Orange Man.
No, it's just an unrelated. I know everybody wants to pin it on something. It was a case that was coming through because of a court. There's a court case for everything, right? And it was regarded of a criminal nature, and the person came out as a whistleblower, right? And so the decision was, if you have an NDA prior to this cutoff date, okay, those are still in place. But going forward, you cannot legally do an NDA for criminal behavior.
Damn.
And that is why a lot of this stuff is coming out, because you can't just NDA it anymore. It won't hold up in court if you do. And by the way, remember, nobody could, maybe this is just me from like my experience again with music industry stuff, but nobody can ever NDA you to shut up about something criminal anymore. They can't just bully you with money. That's important. If you ever witness something like that, you now can't just be silenced with an NDA. And so people out, and people are testing the old ones to see, hey, maybe a judge will say, no, this shouldn't be upheld. But that's how they used to. Here's what they do, bro. Hey, we know you were there when such and such went on. Here's $20,000. Sign this. Man, I'm scraping by groceries, bro. I'm trying to, get a car, and because I was a young man, and $20,000 is a lot of money. And maybe what I saw was fucked up, but maybe I really needed that money.
I say test all the old NDAs.
Yeah, that's the other thing is people are like,
can of worms, though. We don't even have enough like court to deal with that. Do you know how crazy?
Oh, I know. It would be a massive thing, massive undertaking. So it's gonna have to be done one by one when they want to break them.
Yeah.
Well, right now some people are coming out and breaking them, and other people are not, and some of them have been upheld long after everybody involved is fucking dead.
It all matters. It also depends, and I hate to bring this, who can afford to break them too, because
this is true.
Because
that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're that guy that took the money because you needed it, well, who's to say later on you still aren't, like, just because you got to pay off doesn't mean you're rich, right? You got 20 grand. Okay, it's been 10 years, right? And I don't have the money to sit there and go to fight with insert big record company here, right? That has they have 15 of the top lawyers in the country on the books at any moment they can just call.
And also, I'd like to point out that just because someone took a payoff or signed an NDA doesn't make them a bad person at all. That's that's an argument that I've heard a lot, and it kind of drives me crazy just because, like you
Well,
said,
I'll tell you what the alternative was, Sam. Nothing. The alternative, it's either way, I witnessed what I witnessed, okay? In one case, I lose my job, and that's that. In another case, I shut my mouth, I keep my job, and that's that. And then in the third case, they're like, do number 2, shut your mouth and keep your job, but also here's $20,000 for you to do that.
yeah, logically, you'd be stupid not to take option 3.
Oh, what am I going to do? Go to the cops?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, okay, 1, I'm fired. 2, I'm blacklisted from the industry, right? 3, nothing's going to come of it. Guarantee you nothing comes of it. They're like, oh, we hear that you're, doing XYZ with teenage girls. Well, there's no evidence, and see, all the teenage girls say that that's not true. And this guy was here. He says it's not true. Oh, that guy? Yeah, we just fired him. He's crazy. And nothing happens. So your options are to get blacklisted from the industry you work in, shut up and do nothing, or shut up and do nothing and get paid 20 grand and then regret it later on.
Yeah, it is truly awful. I suspect that, like, in the near future, it's already happening that a lot of these YouTubers and online entertainers who are, they're like trans influencers, they're going to be coming out with stories in the future talking how they were abused. It's already happening with like detransitioning, and a lot of the detransitioners, from what I've heard, are getting threatened, and some of their stories are getting quashed in some cases because there are people that don't want the detransitioning stories getting getting any sort of limelight at all. So
yeah, well, you're not allowed to go back.
Well, I mean, you laugh. I mean, we might joke, but yeah, you literally can go back in some cases.
You can actually, though. Here's the thing, Sam. What you got to do is you just got to go get another one, like you're transitioning again, and they would support that. But if you frame it as detransitioning, they don't support it. You see?
So
now that you're a trans woman, right? Now that you're a woman, well, now you want to change to a man. I think they'd be okay with that. That's the loophole to the whole system. You see?
Yeah. Well, hey, I suppose. See,
you can transition as many times as you want. What are they going to tell you? You can't. That's some bigotry.
You just can't detransition.
Yeah, you just can't detransition.
I mean, you're not wrong, but the fact that that's the sad thing, Max, is you're not wrong. But like,
yeah, I'm not just making a witty joke. They actually would accept that as a way around it.
No, I know, and that's sad. It's funny, but it's also, what's the saying? Comedy is tragedy plus timing. That's
there's status in being trans now, and so there's people that are gonna do it for that reason. And then there's also the old boomer, like Hollywood people, where they don't want to do trans, right? They got their image. My God. Oh my God. I'd never. Okay. What do? I know. Trans all our kids. Then we can be like we're pro trans.
Share. Oh.
Oh,
dude,
it's all of them now, man.
Yeah.
It's like it's ridiculous how many of them there are. Make Cher look quaint. Because they're transing their kids when they're like 5. And then showing them off in public. Like, hey, look at my trans kids. Because it's a status symbol thing.
Yeah, well, it's like their kids are accessories rather than. And I mean, I suppose if you really want to get cynical, that's always been
Yeah, they're
Hollywood.
first kids.
And I suppose if you want to get cynical, that's always how kids have been treated. That's why, and I mean that's why Joe Rogan left California. It's because he flat out said he didn't want his kids being raised further in that weird environment. So, yeah.
Yeah. And now that's punk rock. You see, that's how I end up on the side I'm on. It's punk rock to say, yo, can't people just like raise their kids without you like shoving a bunch of shit on their kids?
Yeah.
We used to say that about the Christian evangelicals, like I say, but they're not, they're trying to, keep their church open. If anything, they're too busy in a lot of cases. I mean, you hit on it with the Loomer video and stuff. There's certainly extremists on the right out there pushing shit that's crazy, but it's not those same evangelical Christians that I used to have, butt heads with. They're busy. They got other shit that they're worried about,
Yeah. Well, and a lot of them aren't getting the traction that they used to be, partially because of people like us who are basically saying, yes, you guys were right, but also
people whose principles rest more in like, I guess, liberty than in religion, whether or not you're a Christian is irrelevant to that, right? Where it's like like for example, DeSantis got himself in trouble this week, I think, because he says that he's not going to recognize Satanists as a legal religion. Well, this has been decided in the courts, and that's exactly how the Temple of Satan does activism. They'll sue him and they'll win.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and you give them reason to, you give them motive to, and the Temple of Satan, he's right in a way because they're not a religion. They are an activist organization, but they also know how to work the system. And that's a battle he'll probably lose. For the governor to say he will specifically restrict the freedom of expression of this one particular subgroup of people, he's going to lose. He's on the wrong side of that issue. He's going to lose.
Yeah.
Just because those people are Satanists doesn't change it. If they were fucking, whatever other good religion you think there is, right? It would be the same thing. The governor's saying, you're not allowed. I don't think yours is real. That won't stand.
Well, and that's, and that's the other thing too, is it's all about perception. There are people who think that like all Satanists are like inherently evil, but like I know people who I went to college with who claimed to be Satanist, and they weren't evil. They were just ambivalent.
Well, if you read the Satanic Bible, which is what these people claim to believe, it's more like edgy libertarianism.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. It's like Ayn Rand, only like dressed up in a cape with a naked lady altar and a snake. That's all it really is. But the Temple of Satan in particular, though, as an organization, are explicitly left-wing activists. Like one of the things they're fighting in court right now in Texas. This is why I say they'll fight you in court, because that's what they do. They're fighting in court in Texas and a couple other states to say that abortion is part of their like sacred rights, and so you can't restrict it. That would be restricting their religion.
Yeah,
They also have sued successfully to get statues of Satan put in Detroit and other places. They sue to get after school programs of Satanism and win. So like, I think DeSantis
Pretty sure
is
there's one in
actually,
DC as well.
yeah. That's what they do. They sue. I think DeSantis is in over his head if he wants to tangle with them. He's going to lose, and it's embarrassing.
So then what do you do if you find it like, if you find it morally, if you don't want it in your community?
If you don't want it in your community, what do you do?
Good luck.
Well, okay, here's one. If you put up something respecting anybody else's creed or religion, you have to do them. So if you don't want that, then you don't want any 10 Commandment displays, any Christian displays either. Why should yours get favored over any other religion? The rule of the land is specifically not to do that, right? No one gets favored over the other. So they have to treat them all equally. I understand what you're saying, Sam, but the answer is you don't do anything about it.
The counterpoint to that is, and I'm not saying I necessarily, I get where you're arguing. The counterpoint that I've heard is that we are founded on Judeo-Christian principles, so therefore,
no, but
Satanism,
whatever that is, isn't in the fucking Constitution. What I'm saying is, and whatever that is, the courts aren't upholding that, but they're upholding the Constitution, like I'm talking about. So if the counterpoint is, oh, we put some magic principles hidden behind the words, well, if they're not fucking written down, I'm sorry to tell you that no, you're wrong. The First Amendment specifically and explicitly says you're wrong. It says that the government will make no law respecting no religion over another.
Yep.
Period. If you don't like that, move to fucking one of the countries that does do that.
Yeah.
Get out. You know, it's funny because those same kind of people would say, if you don't like America, get out. Well, if you don't like it, that America respects no religion over another, and the Satanists want to put up a fucking piece just like you do. Well, if you don't like that, get out. That's what we were founded on. That's in the words of the Constitution, Sam. You don't have to look, you don't have to say, well, you know, our principles underneath it all, you know, secretly handshake behind closed doors. No, it says in black and fucking white. And it's been upheld by the courts every single fucking time. You want to fight that battle in the courts? It's not just, oh, Max on the internet said it. Go fight that battle in the courts, right? You'll lose.
In a way, I am glad we are having, you know, in a way, I am glad we are having these fights in the court.
It's the whole point of having a court.
So, yeah, I mean, I definitely, Satanism is one of those weird things because there definitely are Satanists with evil intent, right? The ones who,
like, for example, name one.
Well, like specifically, if you find abortion as part of your sacred right, to me, I find that reprehensible and pretty
right. Well,
evil.
It's not to say that the law has to respect their religion, and they're doing it specifically because they're activists. See, here's the thing, Sam, which you don't understand, is their moral framework is upsetting yours. So
I understand that for sure.
But I don't know if you could. I thought you meant somebody like actually evil rather than somebody that has a political opinion that's different than yours. Right?
Well, that's the whole other thing, though, is like what, we could get into a whole philosophical conversation of what is evil then,
Right.
too.
Right. And that's why I
Because-
asked you what you mean by specifically that you said, as a matter of fact, that there are Satanists who are evil. And I just wanted you to name one, and you so far haven't. I could, but then I wasn't the one that said it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Charles Manson
Is he a Satanist?
would qualify. Isn't he the one who said like he heard voices from Satan? No.
No. No, not at all.
Who am I thinking of that said?
I have no idea. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah.
It wasn't Charles Manson, I can tell you that.
So no, my point being is
Your point being is that you can't answer the question, right? Gotcha. Go on.
Well, the point being too is like we are kind of in a slippery slope here with the Satanist thing too. We are starting to look a lot like Rome towards the end.
What did that have? I don't understand
what does that have?
Like liberalism had more to do with that than Satanists. Rome was a Christian republic, Sam, by that point in time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't even think there was any pagans left in Rome by that point.
Well, it started to go downhill when they were, in some of the writings once gender became a huge issue. So,
which writings? Kind of a Rome buff, Sam, and you're pulling stuff out here that I'm not familiar with. That's certainly not Josephus, so I'm at a loss. Whose writings?
Well, around the time when the empire fell, around the time of Nero.
According to whom, Sam? That's what I'm asking. What's your source on this? Because I've read Josephus, Sam.
Yeah,
that's the history record of the day, and nothing in that has anything to do with like gender getting out of control or anything like that.
So
sounds like a modern made up thing that you probably heard somebody repeat.
Yeah,
it sounds like something like one of these people would say, one of these like, I'm a right wing Catholic guy or something. But no. No, Rome didn't have it.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to find the citation.
Yeah,
where I saw that from a few years ago. So
fair enough. No, I get it. You don't remember everything. That's an interesting take I've never heard before, and like I've read like Roman history in Latin. I'm kind of like into that. I could sit here for the next 2 hours and bore everybody with a lecture about the fall of Rome and why it happened. Gender's not going to come up, Sam. And I probably shouldn't, because nobody would find that particularly interesting.
Well, I actually do find the fall of Rome.
It definitely was a lean towards progressivism. As we would understand it. I mean,
yeah,
they let the Visigoths and the Goths in the doors, right? It was Romans that did that, and they did it for the same reason that like leftists would invite, like a criminal murderer in the doors, because it's the nice thing to do, So certainly you could point to it being more on the liberal end of the spectrum. I'm not saying that that's incorrect. But I'm unaware of any period at which point in Roman history where they were like gender confused at all. That's actually not at all how Romans. They're very big on their gender.
Yeah,
They could be gay.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was a thing, but that's not gender. That's different.
yeah, and that definitely was a thing.
At points in time, and mostly only for like rich people, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the satanic thing, I mean, let me ask you this. Would you really want the satanic church or whatever getting more influence than they have?
The Church of Satan?
Yeah.
Yes. The temple? No. But I'm actually familiar with what I'm talking about to make that kind of conclusion.
What's the difference?
We've established you might not be, because you did say that there are evil Satanists out there and then couldn't name one.
Me and a lot of other people, to be fair. So I'm asking what.
Well, the Church of Satan is why I say that. The Church of Satan is the original, right? And they actually have like a trademark on the word.
Yeah.
And they're basically edgy libertarians, and they're with us on the woke shit, because one of their first rules is not to harm children in any way.
Okay, what about the Temple of Satan? Because
what I think of them, they're a political organization masquerading as a religion, because they use the idea of being a religion to fight and win in the courts, because people kind of like you're doing now, but also DeSantis is doing, make a lot of assumptions that it's okay for them to exclude Satanists because they're different.
Right. Well, I think to be fair, a lot of people.
That's why they win in the courts, though. They're not different.
I think a lot of people think that. I think a lot of people lump the church and the temple together.
Sure. And any asshole that says they're a Satanist, right? On the street.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And a lot of them are saying it now because it's edgy and popular among being a far leftist, right?
Yeah.
But no, because when you say the Church of Satan, there's an organization, they have rules, right? And they're very public. And by the way, they do pay taxes, right? They've specifically not accepted a religious exemption for taxes.
Right.
Right. Whereas the Temple of Satan does these kind of things, and they use that money to then sue your local community to force them to put up a Satan display, versus the Church of Satan, who doesn't have any stance on politics. The official Church of Satan stance, because they asked them recently, because of the temple, they asked them, like, what's your deal? And they're like, we just want to be left alone.
Okay,
they're not out protesting. They're not suing anybody. The Church of Satan, it keeps to itself, literally. So, does one size fits all? And also, who are you to decide if, okay, their beliefs are edgy, or like you don't agree with them, but like, who gets to say objectively that their beliefs are the one that doesn't get to come to the table?
So then,
I'm going to jump in real quick. I'm not saying he's explicitly evil, but the only Satanist that I can name off the top of my head is Anton LaVey.
Mm-hmm. He's the founder of the Church of Satan, right? The one that wrote all these lame libertarian edgelord principles, right? He never got arrested, never harmed anybody.
I just don't know enough about him to say whether he's evil or not.
Well, I mean, what's evil at this point? I mean, we have politicians that we know are certainly evil, doing horrible things, and then you got that guy who had a pet tiger, and just like didn't bother anybody, and they had weird like Satan orgies?
which I actually did know, and so that's why I didn't name Anton LaVey.
Right. Well, see, the answer, by the way, both of you, is Richard Ramirez. But
I just bring him up because he's the only one that I know of. I just don't know if he's evil or not.
Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, was a serial killer. But he's not affiliated with any church. He just there's a type of Satanist, I guess you could call it that are like, I believe in the Bible and everything it says, and that God is good, but I'm crazy, right? So I like the bad guy. That's him. He's crazy.
Well, then, and I almost
it's not like he's working with other people. It's not like he's going to satanic meetings, right? He was just crazy.
And I almost hate to admit this, but like a lot of my source on like a lot of the satanic stuff from what I've seen of it
comes from the Satanic Panic. I could tell by the way that you talk about it. Yeah.
Well, more specifically than that, Max, it comes from Alex Jones, and when he when he infiltrated the Bohemian Grove.
That's not even Satanism.
It's not. It's not. I know you're right. From when I looked more recently, but like,
do you think that they're lizard people too? Because Alex Jones says that they're lizard people. How seriously do you take him as a source, Sam?
Not seriously at all anymore. But
I understand being uncomfortable with their beliefs. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that here's your two options as an American if you believe in America. One, you could say, you know what? In the public space, we shouldn't put up anybody's religious stuff because it's the public space. At home, I can put my cross up, and he can put his little satanic pentagram up in his house.
Right.
Or let's put the 10 Commandments in the public space, and also they're going to put up a satanic diorama. Those are the choices. You don't get another choice.
Which I agree with. I see where DeSantis is coming from, though. That's my point. And I think a lot.
Well, I hope it fucking costs him what left he has of a career after the shit show of an election that he has, because he's going to lose.
Yeah.
Badly in court. It's not even going to go to the Supreme Court. They're going to laugh at him. It's such an obvious violation of the First Amendment. I get that, why people would want to have a contrary opinion to this, but like, I mean, you just read case law regarding the First Amendment and religion, and you're going to find that the Satanic Temple, not only are they going to win, they're the plaintiff in a lot of those wins.
Yeah.
It's what they do. It's literally like challenging, a llama to spit at you or something. You know what I mean? Like, it was probably going to happen anyway. Now you're going to make it happen.
Yeah. Well,
and then they're gonna be all aghast and appalled because they're gonna have like a Satan diorama at a fucking public event in Florida because of DeSantis' own fucking stupidity. Don't even blame the Temple of Satan. As much as I hate those guys, blame him.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree that it's stupid. I'm just saying I think part of the reason why he's doing it too, if I had to bet, is because there is a larger evangelical sect of Christians here that have probably been writing his office to do that. So,
well, put it this way. Ignore it being Satan for a second. The flying spaghetti monster is Pastafarianism is a recognized religion in its country. I'm serious, Sam.
Yeah, no, I know it is.
Okay, So if you want to put up your 10 commandments and I want to put up a flying spaghetti monster, that you have to accept mine to put up yours in the common space. That's how the law works, right? Well, now replace that flying spaghetti monster with Satan, and it's the same thing. I don't care how that makes you feel icky, right?
Yeah. No,
if you're not looking out for the group that, like, because everybody agrees, oh yeah, the Christians should be able to put their shit up. Oh yeah, the Jews, yeah, we'll put up the Jews too. Oh, even the Muslims, we'll put them up. The Satanists, though, well, they're a legally recognized religion. And here's the thing, Sam. If the Satanist isn't a part of one of those organizations, then they're not really a Satanist by law, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have a lot of edgelords that I suppose say they're Satanists but aren't.
What does that mean?
Well, that
is that the same as like, oh, well, there's a lot of Christians, but they really aren't, right? You're judging a man's faith. I believe that they are genuine in what they say. I just think you don't understand what Satanism is.
No, I don't, and I'm saying there are lots of others that
they are literally atheists, Sam.
Yeah.
They're atheist libertarians. The metaphor is that Satan is opposing a tyrannical force that they're seeing God as being. And also, it's all edgy and gets people real upset.
Yeah.
That's what it is, right? That's literally what it is. They don't worship anybody. Not the devil, not nobody. Themselves.
And I understand that. I'm not even arguing with you. I'm just saying I can see where, particularly in Florida, why people would want DeSantis to take this on.
I don't think they do. I think that he wants to take this on.
Yeah.
Nobody demanded that. Nobody was like, yeah, we got to have him crack down on the Satanists' free speech rights. Nobody was saying that. He thinks it's a hot button issue to get attention on. And I'm just making a point to be like, maybe if you don't understand any of this stuff and you don't understand the legal history of it, like you right now, maybe you're in over your head in the conversation and should bow out of it. That's what I'm saying to him. You kind of at least have the sense to do that, Sam. And like, you're like, you know what? I probably don't know.
Yeah.
He's not doing that. He's doubling down, digging his heels in. Good luck to him. I hope it costs him an election. Another one.
His lifted heels.
Let us not forget that he's like a loser by,
Well, he's not running for a third term as governor. So
did he tell you that?
I don't.
Just like he wasn't going to run for president. He told you that.
Well, I don't think he can. Florida's a two-term state, so.
Well, I'm sure he'll run for something.
Oh yeah. I'm sure he will run for Senate, and that race will be funny to watch him lose if he does.
This is one of those things. What else we got, Sam? We've been on this too long, huh?
We have a couple other topics. We do have Lauren Southern finally. She's been calling out the I guess the manosphere hypocrites, which we've been doing for like a while now. And we also have radicals burning shit at Columbia University, but to me, that's not really news as much as it is radicals.
Water is wet. Yeah.
Yeah.
radicals are trying to take over the college campus at Columbia, you say? Who'd have ever saw that coming?
I did get into it with a few people because they on Facebook over that because people were like, Biden should send in the National Guard, and I'm like, no,
because last time they sent in the National Guard over college protests, so fucking Neil Young wrote a song about it, and we haven't heard the end of it since.
Yeah.
In Ohio, there's gonna be like, some gay Zoomer pop singer.
Well,
it's gonna be Lizzo. Lizzo's gonna write a serious song about the Columbia protests.
Well, plus
the voice of a generation.
Plus, Biden doesn't want to.
Featuring Cardi B, and she just talks about her vagina for 3 minutes. I think we got a hit song here, Sam.
Probably. So.
No, it'll be a Taylor Swift song.
So they're gonna burn the whole place down, right?
Yeah, which I say let them, because
it's funny.
Yeah.
You taught these kids all about revolution, you professors. What are you going to teach them now? Maybe you should teach them how to put out a fire. No, you can't teach them to build. You got to teach them to destroy. Well, now they're destroying your fucking office.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is it's not like the professors are going to learn anything from this either.
Let me see if I can find the clip there, Sam. But there was an interview, a quote-unquote interview of two students that were like, we don't even know what we're protesting for.
Based. Let's tear the motherfucker down. Why? I don't know. Because I have to go to school here and it sucks.
Well, no, Max, you can just do courses online, which is what they're doing now. So imagine paying like, here's the part that I find funny about this is imagine paying for like a dorm and like all the expenses at Columbia, but then like being forced to basically do all online classes anyway because of.
Found it. It's in the Twitter group.
The board over there at Columbia should all give themselves raises. That will help the situation.
You say that, but they'll do just that.
Yeah.
So.
They probably did. That's probably what's causing the
riots. Max, what university did you go to?
I went to the University of Hard Knocks. It's the streets.
Ding ding ding. Yeah. I was actually hoping that you would say just that because like you're more well read than.
I was just thinking, like pay
of
all this money to the college for them to say, "Hey, read a book." They don't even give you the book. You got to pay for the book and the class and the test. And the answer was read a book. That's so funny to me. I'm sorry, college people.
You fail.
I'm sorry, college people, that I find that fucking hilarious, but you paid to be told to read books that you probably don't even care about or remember. That's great. You're all a bunch of suckers, I just want to say. I love you.
Yeah.
You're beautiful. But man, what a grift.
No, No, it is. I was told that I would get a job. The thing I find kind of funny now is
Oh,
I was told
the
I would
old
have
will guarantee you a job right out of school. They got you with that one.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
classic at
and
this point. That's like every
then,
person in my generation was like, they promised they'd get me a job and then they didn't.
well, what was even funnier was they like when I was in college, while I was in college, I was freelancing or starting to do freelance, and I was told that's a waste of time. And as it turns out, because of between COVID and all of that thing, which some people are still freaking out about for some.
The rise of gig work, basically.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Say what you will, but if you're good at good working, if you're good at gig working, you can actually make some decent money at it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
What I'm gonna do, Sam, is I'm gonna tell you you should read the Bible. That'll be $6,500. Don't worry. When it's done, I'll sign a piece of paper that says you got a degree.
No, thanks. I already have a friend who thought about going to the seminary school.
Oh no, I'm just recommending you to, since apparently you pay people money to recommend you books.
The funny thing is I read books that my professors didn't want me to read either.
Mm-hmm.
So
those are the most fun to read.
That's good. Those are the freebies, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Sam, if you're paying people to recommend you books, I know a lot of books. It'll be $6,500 per semester.
Max Sand University.
Yep.
So
Sand University.
The
Because
School
that's
of Hard
about
Knocks.
what the degree's worth. Is sand.
I mean, high school diplomas, I mean, you kind of need them because they force you now, but I mean, I've learned more from I've learned more from the internet than anything I actually remembered in college.
I'll tell you what's important
Or
when it
no,
comes
high
to
school.
education. The military doesn't like to fuck around, and work with inefficiencies. And you can't get in the military unless you graduate high school. And no, a GED does not count.
Okay, that is a fair point. So
that's all you really need, I think, minimum, right?
Yeah.
Of course, then you go to college and you pay them and they tell you to read this shit, and you do. And then they give you your little degree. And then you get out in the real world and you realize you got two things now. Not the job they promised you, one, and a big old mountain of debt, two.
Yeah.
But you read some books.
Yeah, you read some
notes of them at least.
You read some books, and you and good luck trying to sell your textbooks too.
Yeah, that's a scam.
So yeah, people
it's probably easier now. There's probably like a very specific app for it that Zoomers will use. I bet you.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully mine thankfully, my books weren't too bad.
I'm probably in the minority. I kept most of my music theory books.
Yeah, but you've also like applied a lot of your own stuff.
Right.
Everything I've done, like as far as podcasting, was self-taught. So,
well, and as Mort would almost certainly know, I bet you a lot of people he's worked with don't have degrees, because
absolutely most of them don't.
Music industry is a little bit lax from top to bottom about that, because some people know music theory just without a degree, and a lot of people don't need it.
And in my specific case, I picked up music what would be considered later in life.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like for an example, the Beatles didn't know music theory.
Right.
They knew to fucking, change the key of the song, but they didn't know what that was called or why you would do it.
Yeah. I took music theory and forgot it after like 2 semesters. So, yay.
But yeah.
So
yeah, if you're younger, try not to get scammed with the college. But there are degrees you can get that are useful. Just be careful with the trap.
Engineering engineering, I would say, is a pretty safe bet. But
and not Columbia. I think we've established
No.
you probably don't want to go to a riot. What was the other one? We had one other topic. Oh, not treating women like sacks of trash is edgy now.
Yeah. So Lauren Southern is getting crap now for basically taking our approach on things. And I never really had an opinion on Lauren Southern. For some reason, Max, I thought maybe you ran into it at some point, but
I definitely have, but I don't know. I don't have an opinion on her, honestly.
Yeah. But you don't know her. You're like me. You've encountered her, but you don't know her or anything like that.
Right? Yeah, I've been in a call that she was in, because if I say no, I don't know her at all, somebody would probably find one of a couple of calls that we were in at some point.
That's about it.
But they're open, live stream debate kind of stuff, and I didn't really talk much to her, so I honestly don't have much opinion on her.
Neither do I.
But this clip, I can't say I disagree with what she said there. So,
nope.
We're supposed to be better than this. We used to lambast societies where women couldn't vote or get educated. And now these influencers see that shit and think, yes, perfect. Burqas for everyone, multiple wives, all of them illiterate. I don't want to be able to have a conversation with a single woman. Love it. And the reason our society is better, and why myself and so many others defended the West back in the day, is because everyone was educated, men and women. Women literally educate our children. We get dumber men when women aren't educated. And this is the reason everyone wants to come to our society, because it is more intelligent, more literate. People are more capable of engaging and building community. Women and men who are higher educated, way less likely to divorce, way less likely. And that family unit, so integral. And yet we want to go back in time instead, go back to the Stone Age, to the values of the people who are literally escaping those countries to come here because it's created such shit cultures. The left imported all of this. I don't want to hear a bo peep from them about the sexism of young British boys. They did this. And now you've got all of these new influencers on the right that say I've changed. I've become some sort of feminazi now, that I shouldn't be critiquing any of this, that I shouldn't even be online at all, commenting on politics whatsoever. Let me tell you right now, I have not changed on this subject one bit. Not one bit. But what has changed is there has been an influx of new demographics with intolerant ideologies who right-wing influencers are trying to appeal to. Because there's just as much money in mass migration to be made from the left as there is in the right. And they want to make sure that money's making its way around to everyone, including themselves. So to make this clear, millions more people with different ideologies come into our countries, and that becomes millions more people to make money off of, on super chats, on events, everything. Who cares about morals? Who cares what right-wing actually thought 10, 15 years ago? There is money to be made.
You're gonna have sex with any guy they want to.
You're supposed to have sex with him whenever he says.
Women simply just don't care too much about the bitch.
This is the perfect example that you can be dumb as a girl and make it through life, bro.
What? No. What did you say? Fuck the woman, fuck the woman. If your dad cheated on your mom, how would you feel?
I'd applaud him. I'd be like, fuck yeah, you got your money on that. I think if you're in a serious relationship with a girl, she should not have an Instagram. That's cheating.
Men don't really need a woman.
Can't divorce, and that's not a real thing.
Even though it might be like physically abusive.
You gotta endure.
I recently decided that women shouldn't vote.
Oh, I might like family more than you. So much high five.
I'm doing this for money. It's all about money to me.
I do find it funny that she chose to end with Pearl Davis, who, yeah.
It is about money. If you're a woman saying that women shouldn't vote, you're doing it for money.
Yeah, also, oh, hey, we've got a Gammon in the house.
A random Apex appeared.
Hi, boys.
Good evening.
Hey,
good evening.
We were just learning about how women should all be in burqas and slaves and second-class citizens now.
Yeah, I've been saying that for years, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's sorry to just jump in. What are we talking about? I got the tail end of that.
Yeah, no, it's Lauren Southern was just talking about there's a segment of the right that's like, I hate women now, and they're grifters, and I agree with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say though, I've genuinely met at least one woman in real life that, at least as far as I know, does not have a social media personality that genuinely thinks that the 19th should be repealed. Now, maybe she trolls the internet, but I didn't really get that much into it. She was like, women fucking ruin everything. Yeah, it's like a normal. Yeah.
There's plenty of critiques about women's political leanings, let's just say.
Sure.
That could be made. But this idea that you could even put that back in the bottle, so to speak, is silly to me.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, I mean, debating pros and cons. I mean, it's just like affirmative action and shit. It's like, yeah, I mean, you can say it did this or did that, but trying to put the genie back into the fucking bottle is, it's a good way to grift though. It's a good way to grift, though. I mean, that I will give it to the people that know how to make money on the internet. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of jealous of them at sometimes, because if you could just turn the filter off and let the tap just fucking run and broadcast it all. I mean, look at how many fucking rich idiots there are just by recording shit.
That's
saying
amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Sam just grabbed his book.
Mm-hmm.
I am not rich, nor am I an idiot. But you can buy my book, The Fourth Estate. It's only $11 in paperback. $5 if you buy the ebook on Amazon. Please buy a book, because
and Sam loves women.
Oh yes, I definitely do. So actually, two of my reviews now on Amazon are from women. Actually.
Hell yeah! See,
so
women love Sammy too.
And now that Biden, kind of made Title IX include trans women, Sam loving women takes on a whole new meaning.
Because he loves women with dicks.
Yeah, well, they're just women.
Well,
they're just women now, Sam.
Yeah, well, shoot.
They can get women scholarships, and
that is so
feminism, guys.
Yeah,
erasing women cutouts that they fought for 50 years to get. Woo!
Yeah, so I guess at the end of the day, the patriarchy really does control everything.
That's right.
So,
Men are just better at being women. It's canon, it's law,
So did you
Sorry, gal, you tried, but the patriarchy, that dastardly patriarchy got you again.
Yeah.
Now you're not even the best at being women.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and look, that I saw and I'm sure it's 100% bullshit, but I did see a post on
Twitter,
I think, but yeah, it was like a 4chan thing. It was describing how and it was like that green text thing where be me, father of one, teenage daughter tells me she's trans. So I excitedly, the rebuttal is, oh my God, I am trans too. So then they go on this, they start wearing dresses and makeup, the dad does, and taking the kid to school, and basically embarrassing the shit out of her by dressing like a clown man dressed as a woman. And then the end of the post was, after a week or after a couple of days, she is no longer trans. And then the post concluded with asking the question, is trans just the new goth? Kind of thing. You know what I mean? Where it's just the counterculture for kids where everybody says you're not supposed to do it. It's bad. It's scary. It's dangerous. So what the fuck do you think kids are going to do? I mean, that's the same with just about anything throughout history, with kids anyway, when it comes to children.
Well, it's like the video we watched with Bill Maher, Sam, to start off with. He said, children aren't adults, wise beyond their years. Children are fucking morons. That's true.
They're fucking retards. Yeah, they're dumb little shits. They got a long way to go. Some of them are very smart for children, but they are not wise. They don't understand the world.
And the smartest among them are still immensely gullible because they don't know. So any information you give them is potentially true.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely...
They're great. They can say things that feel very wise sometimes, those kids. But no, they're stupid.
Yeah, right. Most of the time when they sound wise, it's just some shit that they're parroting from that they heard or learned from somewhere else,
Yeah.
From some other adult or some piece of media. I'll never forget. I was a little kid, or teenager, I guess. And there was, I can't even remember the car company, but there was little, track. It was like a real curvy, like a windy track, left, right, left, right, wormy, snake type of you have to brake into the turn and then accelerate at the apex. And that verbatim is what the said. And then I was driving, I don't know, at some point after that, I was riding around with my father, and we took a turn and some shit rolled around on the dashboard. I was like, Dad, you got to brake into the turn and then accelerate at the apex. He's like, how the fuck do you know that? I'm like,
yeah.
He's like, you don't even drive a car. He's like, but that's right. You're absolutely right. So, I mean, it's just shit like that. I think in most cases.
Or the other one that is often confused with children being super smart is that they say things in a way that doesn't have that kind of adult cynicism filter. And so it's seeing things from a fresh perspective can sometimes be jarring. Like the little kid is like, oh, that's a dinosaur. And you're just like, well, no, that's a whatever, but it does look like a dinosaur. Oh, I get why they would say that,
Right.
That can make kids seem like they're a little bit wise or they have some worldview that we don't. But no, they're pretty easy to fool. And to get to make them obsessed with things. That's what I think it is with the trans thing. The crossover with that and like people with autism is really high. And it might just be the kind of thing that like if you have autism, it's really easy to get confused about if you're a boy or a girl.
Well, that sort of has been around since we were kids.
Yeah.
And just gender dysphoria is a real thing. Like it's been a thing for a long time. And I think it just like every other period in time, at least since I've been alive or since, any kind of real media, like mass media, it's, whether we're talking cowboys or astronauts or soldiers. I mean, look how many fucking teenagers gleefully went to die in a trench in World War I because it was, it was like the cool thing, an adventure, But I think that the shit gets shoved down the kids' throats. It's everywhere. I mean, and I'm fine. I honestly don't give a shit about drag queens time.
With the promise of if you are that, you get better treatment by mostly adults.
Yeah, exactly. And people that aren't trying to, that don't have an agenda of their own to make it, to normalize whatever they think is, whatever's wrong with them, and their narcissism has inflated their narcissism in their friend group has inflated their ego and their ideas to fucking astronomical proportions where they think they can, and they've been able to run an I mean, it's just like the internet. The early days of the internet was fucking mean, but it was way less mean than it is now. Like you'd post a video of yourself, and that you'd get the comments would be like, "Nice hat, faggot," shit like that. Off yourself, that sort of thing. But now you get fired from your fucking career, and your family leaves you, and most of the time for nothing, for bullshit or something you said in passing. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, and most people are too busy to even fucking deal with that shit. That's why they don't pay attention.
I do think the internet, and here's the other thing. I do think that the internet tends to like amplify a lot of stuff too, especially now with social media, that it didn't amplify, that really wasn't a big deal before. Like when trans people say, well, there have always been trans people. I mean, yeah, I believe them.
In some dark corner
of
a city, there's one in 1972. I don't doubt that. Yeah, I don't doubt that some people feel like that naturally without any influence. My suggestion is, and it's basically what Apex was saying, is that there's also on top of that this layer of it being trendy now. And for me, I'm like, well, what's the long-term outcomes for people that get into it because it's trendy when they're a kid? It could potentially be really bad.
Yeah, we're already starting to see that.
Yeah.
We're already starting to see that. I mean, the 40%, the sad, I mean, as much of a meme as I guess it is, but it's real as far as I understand. But no, Sammy, to piggyback on what you were just saying, I said years ago on this show with you that the internet serves, I think the main function it serves, on top of being an information hub and all the great things it is, or not the internet, social media in particular, is just a fucking magnifying glass for mental illness.
Yeah.
Shit that people have been dealing with forever, be it gender dysphoria or depression or anxiety or narcissism, all of it. Anything you can think of.
And like you pointed out, old internet would be like, take your meds, schizo.
Mm-hmm.
New internet is like, oh wow, you're so brave.
You're so brave.
Your meds.
Right. Exactly. but yeah, I just think that it's like it's become like a fucking the James Webb telescope on all of your worst attributes. And if you're not like wise enough to your own self, which most people aren't, this is still a new thing. Social media is not that old. So, I mean, even someone like me, I didn't get on any of this shit until like 2017, 2018.
I was talking about as a father, there's no handbook on how to raise your kids in the social media age. We have to figure that out. Yeah.
And I mean, our parents would probably argue that there was no rule book really for them either. And before them too, there's, World War II, there's no way to be I don't know. But I mean, you could probably scale that back in many different ways. It's just, everything's so new, but it's all the same. And it's
you just gotta have trust in your own judgment.
And I don't think the answer of, well, just keep your kids completely off the idiot box is a good answer either. And I've gotten a lot of flack for saying that, but it's not because kids are going to run into the internet and things eventually. Maybe not as kids, but as adults, and they might not be prepared to deal with.
But there's no easy answers that you could look to. Hey, where's this old wisdom about what you do with kids in the internet? So we're just kind of, and a lot of people's answer to this problem just seems to be, well, just let your kid have the tablet and don't worry about it.
Right.
No, that's a lazy parent's answer in my estimation.
It's a very common answer.
No, I know, and I agree with that. I'm saying I've also seen the flip side, which is, well, just don't let your kid on any technology, and that doesn't really solve.
No, what happens is when they inevitably do get into contact with this technology, it's going to be out of your control and as a forbidden taboo thing. That's like the worst thing that you, in my opinion, that's the worst.
Yeah, no. And I
go ahead, Sammy, sorry.
And I've actually said that to like a few parents, and the response is, well, you don't have any kids, so how would you know? And I'm like, because I was a kid once too. And and specifically like my dad, he was more liberal and he hated Rush Limbaugh. Right. So what did I want to do more than anything? I wanted to, right. So that sort of thing.
You wanted to become a famous left-wing movie director.
No.
Oh, damn. I was so close.
No, I wanted to become a famous conservative talk shows, which in a way I did.
That was my next guest.
Just not famous. Yeah.
Not yet, motherfucker. But hold on, before we go too far, I do think there are some parallels to like the TV in like Max and I's generation. Because as much as you like to pretend you're an old man like us, Sammy, you are much younger, or at least younger enough that there's like, because the TV and the way they really started pushing the programming and the literal like mental programming as well as the actual TV programming that the things that they were putting on, those were the early stages of what they're doing now.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So
figuring it out to some degree. Yeah,
sure. So there were a lot of parents, and mine were some of them, or mine were them as well to a certain extent, where like you couldn't watch certain things. You weren't allowed to watch TV if you didn't do this or you didn't do that. The only problem with that is the TV was a stationary, often very heavy fucking thing in the center of your home,
Yeah.
And the only way you could sneak that shit is if everyone was sleeping or nobody was home or whatever. Now every fucking buddy has a phone. And if you want your kids, you know, I mean, I think we got away without cell phones as kids, but it was a different fucking world, man. Like, I don't know. I can't imagine being the kid that in this day and age where your parents won't give you a cell phone, or if they give you a cell phone, it's not one that you can do anything other than call and text on. I'm not sure if that's even fucking possible these days, but like, imagine being a 15, 16-year-old kid. I don't know. Like, they would need to be really passionate about something else, and you could only hope to foster that early on, because if not, you got to kind of roll with the punches.
I have two half sisters who are significantly younger than I am. They're still little children, and my dad was telling it's like, I don't know how hard he looked, but from what he's said, it's like nearly impossible to find a like cell phone that isn't like a smartphone or has some sort of smartphone type features these days. Now granted, I don't know how hard he looked, but it does certainly seem like, and you're right, I am significantly younger than you and Max, but even with me, like when I was a kid, I had a laptop, but it was like a heavy duty thing that I like had to carry, and like and I was only allowed to use it like certain times, and there wasn't any way I could like really sneak it around, even if I wanted to. So
I figured you're a very sneaky guy.
Well, yeah, but if the thing is like 3 pounds, I mean, that's heavy for a crippled kid to haul around.
I pictured you with like Wile E. Coyote style traps trying to get that laptop to listen to some Rush Limbaugh and Dennis Miller.
I certainly did. I have my traps, but
yeah. See, that's crazy because, like, I mean, the idea that I guess it's not that crazy. I didn't really listen. I wasn't into like radio shows or anything. I mean, if anything, I was very basic. I was a basic bitch teenager back in the 90s and 2000, early 2000s, where like it was scary movies and like titties and cussing. My parents were like, absolutely not.
I was into all that too. So
no. I just mean that those were the only things that my parents were really keen on. Like, you can't do that. Candyman was the first thing, the first memory that I have of my parents, any parent in my life saying, you cannot watch that movie, because it scared my mom so much, I guess.
My dad did forbid me from playing Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Call of Duty too. Yeah.
Yeah. So what did I do?
I got banned from video games, period.
So then what did I do? I just went over to a friend's house and played it there. But then like once he found out, he was like, oh, okay, well, like, I mean, he was mad. He was like, well, you've already played it, so like, as the thing that was always crazy is like, as long as you don't like shoot up a school or something. He was one of those parents, and I don't know, maybe I was maybe my friends and I were a little smarter, but like the thought of like playing a violent video game and then like actually committing IL violence, that never occurred to like my friends or I.
Yeah, no shit. No shit, right?
It only occurred to like 6 people ever.
Yeah, I was going to say the percentage of people that played those violent video games over the last 25 years there's been like 0.00000 something percent. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's crazy.
But
It's a crazy small number.
But then, that's kind of my point, though. But like, that was the reason why my dad didn't want me playing it. Didn't want me playing GTA, was because like he somehow thought that my friends and I might try and do GTA in real
I
life.
see that. You're a rambunctious fellow.
Well,
Sure.
I mean that would actually be funny though. Can you imagine me like trying to like
wheeling around town?
we trying to like carjack someone and be like
drives away putting up gang signs.
No, me trying to like, oh shit, now I gotta get my wheelchair into the car.
Yeah, into the car, yeah. While the person's
so
no, see
the move. Hold on, pop the trunk.
Yeah, the move would be Sammy's got his gun, opens the door like GTA style, pulls them out of the car, and then hoists himself in, and then the door closes, and again GTA style, gun out of the window, and the former driver hands up and he's and he like grabs the wheelchair, trunk pops, and he puts it in the wheelchair, and then you drive away. So it's just an additional animation in GTA other than just pulling the guy out. You gotta wait a couple extra seconds for the Sammy patch or the
somebody mod Sammy
the Sammy mod. That would be awesome.
And the cops are still dumb that they somehow like miss me completely. So
no, they fucking they beat the shit out of the guy that put the wheelchair in your in the trunk of the car you just stole. Yeah, in your rear view mirror.
The other way for everything you do.
Yeah, yeah. You're a crippled white man. Are you kidding? You got the fucking trump cards.
Yeah,
and if it gets really dire, you could claim to be gay.
Oh yeah. Secretly gay, so you've been struggling with it forever.
Crippled and closeted.
That would eliminate like a 5-star police chase immediately.
Oh shit, guys, hold on. Let's go back to station. It turns out he's part of the fucking alphabet mafia.
Hold on. Time out. Sammy, I almost hate to call this out on air, but at the same time, I wouldn't do it any other way. I think you've got your buttons on your shirt. I think you jumped a button. I think you're
yeah, I just noticed that.
Yeah, okay.
So
just you could just take your shirt off for old time's sake, for chat, but you don't have to do that.
I mean, I could do that. I don't think Max was here for that era.
No,
you gotta sell at least 3 books for that.
That's true.
Yeah. There we go. Well, it's also not summer yet either, so not quite.
That's true. Yeah, keep it on, Sammy. That's true.
Do we got anything else? We covered all your topics, or
it
was just the 3, was it?
Well, mainly also just that yesterday was the 30th anniversary of Richard Nixon passing away, and in hindsight, I think he was a very misunderstood man. I've been watching a lot of videos from the Nixon Foundation, and he was nowhere near the bumbling idiot or the stern, angry guy that I was.
You don't win 49 states in an election by being a fucking caricature.
No, and yet in school, that was literally all I was taught in school about Nixon was Watergate. Didn't learn anything in college either. I really didn't learn anything until like 2 years ago after I had already graduated. So yeah, yesterday was the 30th anniversary of his passing, and I think I think history has kind of proven that he was better than people than the establishment portrayed him as. So yeah, I was trying to find a video here, but I can't find the one I had bookmarked. So
it was also an anniversary of Ruby Ridge or one of those recently too, wasn't it?
Yeah, Waco.
420 is also Columbine.
Columbine, that's right.
And Hitler's birthday
and Hitler's birthday
holiday. It's an all-purpose day, really.
Yeah, get it all at once. Fuck it.
I forgot that Columbine happened on 420. That's dark.
Yeah, I was on school vacation my freshman year, and then I came back and left school for approximately 3 months after. One more day. Because they equated me to the shooter, Sam. Because I was weird and into metal. And
oh, yeah. That was the start of it all, man. The whole weird goth, alternative fear, like the kids aren't, being afraid of youth culture type shit. Because I don't think that was really a thing in the boomer generation. The boomers were pissed off, or not the boomers, but the greatest generation was pissed off at the hippies.
Yeah.
The boomers, because all the peace, love, and let me get fucking high and get things for free. While their parents went and fought in multiple countries, but for mostly bullshit reasons. But still, it's I don't think that there was like this. The youth didn't have the upper hand on the adults back then. I don't think. I feel like that's relatively new.
It was a combination of like the Columbine and goth culture and gangster rap. Actually, like in our generation specifically, it was our generation took to like anti-authoritarian fucking messaging really easily.
Yeah, outwardly, like openly and very voraciously anti-establishment,
Yeah, just fuck the man. Punk rock. But punk rock is more like a Gen X culture.
Yeah. Although it is kind of funny now that like all the that like a lot of the Gen X, well, at least some of them are completely like shills for the establishment. Tom Morello.
Nothing more punk than raging for the machine.
Yep. So and
sorry, I was muted. Yeah, what a joke, huh? Rage for the machine. That's a fucking disgrace.
It's like they've made a joke of themselves. It's a crazy thing. But that's where we're at. And that's why I say like I've been within doing Right to Offend, kind of leaning towards like a punk rock aesthetic of our own. Because it just seems to be our fucking ethos anyway, like.
I mean, yeah, that's I love that. I love it. I really do. Right to Offend it's perfect. I like
is it just me or is Apex glitching out for
yeah, he cut out there.
Cutting out. Okay. I'm sorry. Am I here?
Yeah, you're here.
Oh, I was just saying I love the Right to Offend naming. It's perfect. Like it's very good as an overall ethos message. And again, Max, I've only been talking to you or known you as of fairly recently, but knowing Sammy and the kind of work we've done for years prior,
it's more that's kind fitting than I even thought.
No, I literally couldn't have imagined a better like if I was trying to do the same idea and come up with like a media company for Sammy, I couldn't have thought of anything better. It's perfect.
I mean, I thought Next Gen Conservative was pretty cool at the time, but Right to Offend, I didn't even think of that name.
It's perfectly provocative without being. It's perfect. It's right there. It's provocative without, again, saying anything specific. So
right,
it's going to get the right attention, and also probably trigger the right people just off of just off of the surface.
And express right up front, but we don't give a fuck. We're not like caring about your delicate little feelings, right? We're just people. It's the whole point, I think, is people just calling it like they see it, and not really being kind of anti-grift. Help.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Go ahead, Sammy.
Well, and I think
anti-grift and anti-old people.
Holy shit, Mort! I forgot you were here, buddy.
Well,
I wasn't for like 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Well, it depends on what your definition of an old person is, too, I guess. So,
old stodgy motherfucker that won't change.
There's some young ones of them too.
Yeah. Yeah,
but no, sure. Of course, then we say anti-grift, but Sam's book is doing awesome.
Honestly, I honestly hate that word. I'm sorry to cut you off.
But that's an actual product.
Yeah, no. Look, there are a lot of quote unquote grifters that actually sell. Depending on your opinion, not for me necessarily, but there are people that are quote unquote grifters by the large majority of at least people I circle with that are just. I mean, I don't know. I guess there's always some gray area there, but I'm not a big fan of the term because the whole fucking internet is a grift if you break it down far enough.
For sure. Yeah, so, I used to prefer the term e-beggar, right? Because then you can spot what the difference is right up front,
Like DSP.
Yeah, it's a good example. Look, I even... as much as I hate to say this, like, I don't even think the grift, well, no, it does. No, I was going to say, I don't think the grift term applies to Owen even anymore and the shit that he used to pull and has been pulling, but he is a straight up scammer and he's very much a grifter. But what he provided for his audience was some sort of community, some comedy, a sense of family. It was all bullshit. It was all a lie. Right. So that I guess ultimately is what a grifter is.
That's kind of what I mean. Yeah.
He never sold anything.
Insincere.
It's just selling your personality, your quote unquote personality. That's what I think a grifter is. If you're not offering any, even that's kind of rough because that's all Sammy's really doing. And there's nothing wrong with like just putting yourself out there and people paying you for your opinion. You know what I mean?
And the difference is
we have selling his wheelchair.
We have links right in the description if people want to donate, and we usually read their chats, but also we don't really ask.
Yeah.
I that's what I see as the difference. Maybe that's a really fine nuance.
To get even I would kind of agree with Max. I mean, my whole thing is like I don't push donos like a lot. I know, but like people are certainly welcome to hit that super chat. But I guess like I've encountered a lot of people that like frequently are like, come on, we need like X donations within like the next.
Yeah, we show the book like once an hour.
Shout out to Cheapy in the chat. She's right. Lack of
substance. Yes, I was going to say that as well. Yeah. Thank you, Mort. But I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think there is an area between that you should be hitting. I don't think there's anything at all wrong for reminding your audience that they can donate if they want to.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like
kind of just forget, to be honest with you.
it's just there is some sort of psychological trigger that it's the same reason to this day, and for the last probably 10 fucking years, any like remotely big YouTube channel is going to remind you to subscribe and hit that notification bell.
Oh,
Now they
that
do
works,
it more,
sure. Especially
they do it
when
more,
they don't have to. It doesn't cost anything. Those are the easy ones to get. Yeah,
of
you're not wrong.
course, yeah,
Yeah.
of course. But there's a difference between Mersh and his ilk just literally begging his audience and also often berating them. You know, when you rely on that as your income, it's one thing, but it is important to remind the audience that, hey, it helps the show. This show would, every dollar that you donate helps the show. It's not like it, you know what I mean? It makes for a better show. So if you would like Sammy to have a shirt buttoned properly, or a
I don't know if you could, I don't know if we could buy that.
I'm just kidding, man. That's the first thing I thought of. But no, like just anything. I mean, if you want, certainly
the book has been immensely helpful.
Show the cripple hair.
In the book, not only is it just like there's not that much money in it. He's been very open about sales and stuff, but it helps him in terms of like his credibility. You know,
of course.
It's opened so many doors. And so that's why we've been kind of focused on just the book. It's been super helpful. And,
I just think if Sammy, I think if Sammy once an hour, instead of just pulling the book up, said, "Hey, if you guys want to support the show, there is a link in the description if you want to super chat, or if you really want to support the show, you can buy my book, The Fourth Estate, which is now out on Amazon and whatever. Yeah, there you go. See?
Yeah, you did.
You did both.
You did well. I mean, I have mentioned that we do appreciate Rumble. That we appreciate, Rumble rants, which I guess is what they call super chats. Part of the thing too is like when I was on YouTube, I never hit the number of subs that you needed for super chats. So so sometimes I forget that that's an option, but it definitely is on Rumble. So yeah, any super chats would be appreciated. Even if you just donate $1, I won't yell at you like Stephen Molyneux.
And yeah, if you donate, yeah, you can. If you donate $1, ask a question, and I guarantee you, whether I'm on here or not, the panel will answer it. They'll talk about it.
We always read. We try to read free chats, but yeah, we always read super chats.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I'm not trying to say. I just think that the gray area is wider than a lot of people think. I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to make money with what you do. And trying to get support for it. And yes, a book, something substantial is, I mean, it's more substantial than just throwing money onto the internet. But
yeah,
there are lots of people willing to do that. So I don't know.
GB says, "Oh my God, Sammy," and this is on all caps, by the way. Wear a Fourth Estate shirt with no buttons.
Yeah.
There you go. That's 2 birds, 1 stone.
I think Chibi likes that I keep pointing out your shirt, your shirt buttons.
Women do like that kind of thing, though.
You know what? Like I might not take the shirt off, but one thing I will do is
it's ironed though. You got to give them that.
I will.
Ooh. Put the chest hair away, Sammy.
No. This is old school Whitfield Report. We are
I actually have chest hair, unlike a lot of the beta males who are like, I have to shave mine. So
I thought you were about to say, Mort, unlike you, I have fucking chest hair, you pussy.
No, I
thought you were about to
Sammy doesn't want to go there. I'll post a picture if I have to.
No, No, I know Mort does because he's not like a 20-something-year-old confused guy. So. Also,
at least I'm not gonna get hit this
Pretty sure
time.
I had chest hair before Sammy was born.
She's more cringe that you stroking your chest hair.
I haven't stroked it. It's just
No, he looks like a fucking Florida fucking Chad ass author chilling on the beach.
That's true.
Working on his book. You just can't see his pad or his typewriter or whatever some 70s, Vice reporter would have.
yeah,
Sam's writing his book with a fucking little pad and a little sharpened number 2, the little short pencils,
Yeah, the one that you've had for like 2 years. You made it almost through the entire school year in high school.
And he keeps it behind his ear.
Oh God. No, if I wrote by hand, that would be hilarious for 2 reasons.
It would be funny.
A, my handwriting is kind of shit because I have
Here you go, publisher.
Is it kind of
edit this?
Is your handwriting kind of crippled? Would you say, Sammy?
Yeah. So
very much so.
So it would be hilarious to give it to an editor to see if they could even read it. So
Sammy, who's Nevi?
Nevi, that's
is that your girlfriend?
Yeah.
That's
never mind. We don't have to.
That's our friend.
He semi-cucked Johnny Fox out of his online girlfriend.
Yeah. Which granted was not that hard to do. So
No.
But like I am not to be too egotistical, but I am pretty charming.
Yes, sir.
So,
we need to clip that and put it on the soundboard.
Yeah,
Look,
exactly. Not to be egotistical, but I am charming.
There are few things ever in all the years I've been friends with Sammy that I've heard him say that were more true. So I think it's why we get along so well. We're both deathly charming young men.
Yeah.
That doesn't explain me.
Well, sure it does. Yeah. I mean, you're married and got kids. You're clearly charming. You're just charming in the Black Dahlia Murder, I'm Charming song kind of way.
You keep looking. You keep looking over there like you're gonna get hit, and I don't think you will. So
no, I'm looking over at the eye rolling reactions to some of the things, particularly you stroking your chest hair, and then you said you didn't, and she looked at me like, is he serious right now?
Well, right now I'm stroking my beard, so that I'm definitely doing. So
Sammy opened up his shirt and was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I got him going. I'm sorry about that, guys.
And then immediately forgot that he did that.
Yeah, this is my little brother here. So
yeah,
and anytime I can, bully him into unbuttoning his wrongly buttoned shirt or, something like that.
Well, hey, it looks more straight. The shirt looks straighter now, I guess.
It certainly does.
It also looks gayer.
The collar on your he looks like a fucking 70s Vice reporter. Stop it. He might be a gay guy in the 70s, but he's definitely not. We all know that.
I know.
Certainly, if you're looking at him
I'm just saying, yeah, it's a very 70s aesthetic there. Looks like he'd fit in right on Three's Company as the guy pretending to be gay.
Well, no, I'm looking at this looking like I've kind of got a Raiders of the Lost Ark thing going.
There you go, Raiders.
Oh fuck! I am enjoying this way too much.
Yeah. So now we've devolved to the topic is Sam's chest hair.
Mm-hmm. You guys did that, not me.
Yeah. Well, also though, I've been playing around with ChatGPT this week and making like, I guess people didn't know this about me, although I'm kind of surprised. But yes, I do like comic books and comic book art.
What?
Oh, thank God! I thought you were about to come out as gay. Jesus Christ!
Only for you, Ed Tech. So
I'm for one am shocked, Sam. How have
Yeah,
you hid
and
this from us
for
for
Johnny
so long?
Arcade. Yeah, and for Johnny Arcade. And it was never a secret.
yeah, No, I made more a cool avatar. I made Morpheus like a cool like avatar. So
You made it for him?
yeah.
And what?
Using ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's all over my Twitter now, and if let me pop in the.
I also made new like cover art for the Whitfield report too.
I saw that. I did see that, yeah.
Which like that's the aesthetic that I like, that I've always wanted, but nobody, for some reason, there are very few artists who can actually draw in that like style. I've looked like seriously too.
I bet you money, now that you have a reference with the one that you created with GPT, I bet you fucking money you could get something better for pretty cheap. Something, like more accurate, more detailed in that style, because you already now you have a reference, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is hard to beat $20 a month though for
I would like to see a picture of him painted like right now.
Of Sammy painted? Oh, Sammy's his current status
just
on the
like
screen.
Screenshot from maybe one of the points where he was posing with a big smile. Right.
Say Chibi's got a screenshot for already. For
there we go. And then we have it painted and then hang it on the wall behind him like some kind of like fourth wall break.
We'll just green screen that bitch in. We'll just put over the bookcase there, Sammy. We'll just put a green sheet, and then we'll just switch through fan arts of you looking sexy in your cripple chair or your computer chair, your crippled computer chair.
If you want to see it, Apex, I just posted in the chat with the avatar on my account.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out.
It looks really good with my like black watch band too.
Get him some of that like George Costanza style art, you know?
Oh yeah. No, someone I forget which YouTuber it was, but someone photoshopped some YouTuber's face into the George Costanza paintings.
Oh my God, I should do that. It's your face though.
Don't end the show.
Amazing. Yeah, that would be.
Or you just do that pose. We could use that as like promo art.
Hey, I'd be all for that. So,
with a fucking rose in your teeth.
Yeah, or maybe, I don't know. Were cigarettes like ever? I don't know. See, this is the other thing, is I don't smoke, but everyone in my books does, even though my books take place in like modern times. I do kind of like the idea that like in my universe people smoke for the cool aesthetic.
Fair.
Because why not?
Because Noir did it. Yeah, I got
yes. And because Norm Macdonald was right when he said Hey, I thought I would look cool if I smoked cigarettes, and wouldn't you know it, I did.
I did. Yeah. Right.
So, so,
Sam in his like mid-20s picks up smoking just for the aesthetics.
Yeah.
Base. Dumb, but base.
No, you know what you could do though? That would be a good grift, quote unquote, and people would call it a grift if you just took some super sexy pictures of you with lit cigarettes. You know what I mean?
that would be a grift.
Chibi says paint him like one of your French girls.
At one point, Max, I did consider, like, I don't know, Apex, if you remember this, but at one point I did say that if we ever got banned off YouTube, that like we would have to move the show to OnlyFans.
Oh yeah.
Because Rumble didn't exist yet. And this is actually like one thing that I was actually thinking, like, I know that OnlyFans is like known for like the sex work thing or whatever you want to call it, but like there are actual other creators on there, I guess.
That's just like Pornhub, actually. Pornhub has full like Call of Duty playthroughs and fucking Diablo, and it's a video platform. It's not exclusively a porn platform.
Are you?
Yeah, pretty sure.
I mean, I believe you. That just seems like what. That just seems like wild that someone would go to Pornhub. No, Mom. It's not what you think. I'm just watching I'm just watching Call of Duty.
I'm just watching some zombies.
Meanwhile, ironically, Twitch like has basically become Pornhub. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's all. The thing is like on either ends of the extremes.
Twitch is baby's first porn.
Yeah, no, on either end of the extremes, like they both just started at either extreme. Pornhub just straight up hardcore pornography, and Twitch and YouTube and shit just normal, not pornography. But the shit's slowly merging. And Pornhub, in my opinion, Pornhub and OnlyFans and shit like that kind of have the advantage or the upper hand in, potentially in the long run, because they've got the infrastructure for all the video for fucking, I can't even imagine how much data worth of video they they have the potential for or the capacity for. But yeah, it's not the best platform. It's not YouTube. You're not going to get recommended, although you might. I don't know. I've never gone through Pornhub and like clicked through any multiple video. You know what I mean? I usually, if I'm on Pornhub, I'm not there for very long. I'm not clicking through videos. So
yeah, doing analytical research on how the platform works.
Yeah, like seeing what the algorithm recommends me next. Although what little experience I have seems to be all right. Like, hey, that chick looks similar to this chick that I was just clicked on. I don't know, I mean, it just seems like
there's probably an unexplored way to game their algorithm too.
Almost certainly. Yeah. Almost certainly. And I just think
because nobody ever thinks to do that.
Yeah. I think there's got to be a way without like grifting the people. There's got to be a way to grift the algorithms. If you just put your shit fucking everywhere and you do, you manipulate this, that, and the other. I mean, I know that exists already.
Fucked by 5 dudes at point C.
Yeah, and it's just Sammy talking to 4 different people or 5 dudes. It's a debate. Sammy 5 versus 1 debate.
He's
and
just
the title
playing a game and getting killed. That's what I'm saying, right?
Oh, okay.
Sure. Yeah, just by 5 dudes at point C would be like a clickbait title.
Crippled crippled gets fucked by 5 dudes at point C.
No, or what they used to do with the Pornhub memes where it's like rich old guy blasts out like old woman, and it's Trump beating Hillary in like a debate or something like that.
Right.
There were a couple memes with Trump where it was like rich guy blasts like young Latina or something, and it would be
I remember seeing one like elderly interracial couple fucks the entire country, and it's Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as like a Pornhub thumbnail.
Yeah, like one of the like one of those. So
But yeah, now that we're off into like Pornhub memes, I'm probably gonna call it a night, Sam.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you guys want to end the show? I'm sorry, I've strolled.
No, that's what we live for. We love. We'd rather talk about Pornhub memes than fucking politics half the time.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, porn and politics are one and the same for some people, or at least the fear porn element is. So.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Well, now they added in the gore porn element, right? The guys lighting themselves on fire and all the Palestine stuff.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
Did you guys see? Did you guys see the talks of that dude lighting himself on fire in New York being fake? You saw that?
I haven't seen it. Well, I watched the video. It looks pretty fucking real. I believe somebody's stupid enough to do it, but I wouldn't be surprised if people think it's fake.
Well, I will say, I can tell you for sure that the way they handled that man broke all of like the normal procedures. Like they literally like toss him onto the gurney, and then they don't use any of the like burn victims. It's like a real, like your skin's melted, so it takes, you can't just strap them into the thing. There's certain things you have to do. And like 2 officers just pick him up by his feet and his hands, and they don't even lower the gurney. They pick him up like 3 feet and toss him onto the thing. And I don't think it's fake, but the fucking disdain apparently shown for that man is I get it. It's a pain in the ass for everybody, but if you're going to protect and serve, or take any kind of whatever oath to not harm people, it's just I don't know. It didn't sit well with me what I did see. But anyway, if you want to go, Max, Sam, if you want to kill the show, let's kill it. I'll just go back to chilling by myself. I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, I mean, who knows? My whole thing on that is I did hear the rumors that it was fake, but like, here's the thing. If it was, I don't know what it said. I don't know if this says more about me or society, but like, I think it is real. But if it was fake, I wouldn't be surprised either. Like if it came out.
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, it's like the Boston bombing. The Boston bombing seems way more likely to be like not fake, because shit blew up for sure. But it seems an easier thing to pull off, because that was right there in fucking downtown New York City. There were hundreds of people and smelled burning flesh and hair and looked at the dude fucking burning to death.
The video is only a couple feet away.
Yeah, literally videos feet away. Now, I mean, could it be some Mission Impossible level shit where it's like a full body fucking like burn suit that smells like flesh and fucking hair? No, I don't think so.
Well, he didn't,
but I guess it's possible.
He didn't behave like a burn suit. Because there's a specific way that you act when you have a burn suit on once you're on fire, because there's a limited time.
Yeah.
And that guy just kind of stood there. right? And then tried to like raise his hand up to do something, and then just kind of dropped. That's not how a burn suit would, because if you dropped like the way he did, kind of backwards in a burn suit, you'd probably die.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, unless they're right there with the fucking fire extinguisher, which they weren't.
To clarify, is this one of the commies? Is this one of the commies that lit themselves on fire? Or?
I actually don't think that this guy's a commie. I think he's more. His big problem, if you can read his manifesto, and his big problem has to do with cryptocurrency and like the New World Order. You can classify him, but he also is a socialist. So I don't know. He did it because of Bitcoin, though.
What I find funny is we can get that manifesto, but not Nashville.
I mean, Bitcoin is a pretty stupid reason to light yourself on fire, but okay. No, I was just gonna echo what Craig from the Fake Untitled podcast said about the commies lighting themselves on fire, which is that they should all, light themselves on fire. So
it certainly thins the herd of the most mentally ill, but that's the sad part. Is commie or not, these guys doing this are clearly mentally gone.
Yeah, well,
and there's no support. Obviously, nobody said to them, "Hey, are you feeling all right?" I don't know. I think it's tragic. It's a waste of life.
Well, maybe someone did, and they might have said, "Oh, I'm fine." So
yeah. I'm just saying the state of like we got mentally ill guys lighting themselves on fire in public now.
Yeah,
that's bad. That's commie or not, right? I think commie's not like a root cause of it necessarily. It seems to me the mental illness is the root cause.
Well, that's the thing too, is we seem to be very selective about which mental health cases we champion too.
Yeah, who's crazy and who's just the bad guys because they have a different opinion, right?
Well, that, but I'm thinking kind of the flip side of like, if you're transgender, that's not, there's absolutely no mental illness there whatsoever.
We can't even have a conversation about mental illness anymore.
Right. So, but
but speaking of mental illness, watch the newest Dave I put up of him just yelling about prostitutes for like 5 minutes.
That was perfect timing. I'm like, hey, sorry about that, fellas. You're like, speaking of mental illness.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
No. My segue was to Dave.
No, I know. I'm just
the king of mental illness.
Yeah. No. That is a good way of ending it, because mental illness can be sad, but it can also be very entertaining. So
yeah.
Oh no, it's often very funny from the outside looking in. But if you have, some, depending on the level,
it would be terrible to be Dave.
Sure.
But watching Dave is hilarious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that changes when he becomes like harmful, right?
Sure.
Dave's not really harmful, so it's just kind of a grown man freaking out like a teenager, saying "fuck you, mom," and because he wishes he was in New York, and it's just kind of funny. I always leave the caveat that Dave will become a lot less funny if he was like a pedo or something, right? But that's just me. Until then, which the thing about Dave is he's such an asshole, nobody can get close enough for him to abuse. He's always like that. Always is he fucking in this character that's a fucking 90s edgelord dickhead. And so, because Because like women will see like the video, Dave versus Whammons, the first episode I did on him, or the first popular one, I guess. And they're just like, "Oh my god, this guy's such a creep." And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's impossible for him to be a creep because he's such a creep that women immediately get vibes of, I don't want to talk to this guy." So he can never really act on it, which is both hilarious and also like he's disgusting. Like half the video is him asking the most like inappropriate questions to women. What color panties do you wear? Do you have hair down there? What kind? Do you shave it? Do you trim it? Is it a landing strip? Do you have big boobs or small boobs? And then he'll repeat his list like 3 times. It's great.
The funny thing is if he looked like either me or Tom Brady, he might be able to get away with those questions.
I don't know. Yeah. I think Dave is, because Dave wasn't the weirdest looking guy. Dave's a pretty normal looking guy when he was younger. He's just so fucking off-putting.
Yep.
That a woman can't spend 3 seconds with him. So there's no chance for him to be a creep because they run screaming when he just says hi.
Yeah, well that's my point though too, is if
I'll be there before long, but go ahead, Sammy. He'll be there.
If he weren't so off-putting, he could maybe get away with some of that stuff. Maybe.
Yeah. He could get away with a lot more than he does. He gets away with everything as it is. The funniest part is how angry he is about being moved to where he is now, because he's never been in a better living situation than now. He has his own home. All he has to worry, it's a mobile home. All he has to worry about is filling up the fucking propane tank every couple months.
Yeah,
but he just hates it there. And the reason he hates it there is like very typical, like autistic reasons. Like he can't go to his grocery store. He can't go to that one gas station that used to let him pump first and then pay. And this is driving him mad.
But does the pineapple taste like pineapple?
Yeah, and then he's doing taste test videos where he just repeats himself so many times that if I say, "What did the pineapple taste like?" my wife has like PTSD now.
Oh no.
Well, Max, you forgot. Why are the outlets upside down? Why?
Oh yeah, just screaming. Yeah, he's losing it. And there's nothing I could do. There's also, he put up on his own channel. He put up on his own channel. There's a call from him calling like social services to ask, demand that they get a U-Haul truck, come to where he's at, pack up all his stuff, and then move him to the new house that they're going to provide him in New York under Section 8.
Oh.
That is wild.
He yelled at 3 different operators about this, and then the third lady finally realized that he's just retarded, and she's like, "Honey, I think you need to go find God." And told him to go to a church. Maybe the church will help you.
Yeah. Dave. Anyway, that's a good way to end it. Don't be like Dave. Buy the Fourth Estate, and I've never ended a stream like this, but if you like what you see here, give a thumbs up,
comment, and subscribe.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Comment, and subscribe,
and hit the bell icon for more. But we're not on YouTube, so don't.
I think if you subscribe, like the bell icon actually automatically comes on. So plus run.
I do have a parting question for the chat, not for you two here, so we can end as quickly after I ask this as you'd like. But what if women had a shell like a crab, and you had to crack it open to get to their pussies? Good night, everybody.
Good night. Yeah.
Adios, folks.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to The Whitfield Report on the NGC Network. Please visit Sam's website at www.thesamwhitfield.com and support Sam on Patreon at patreon.com/Whitfield Report. Until next time, God bless, God save this great nation, and God, freedom, legacy, in that order.